If someone said that they are self-obsessed, what would that really mean? I feel like when we say the word self-obsession, they're viewed in a very negative light. But if someone says that they're obsessed with a new TV show, with a perfume, with a guy, or a celebrity, it's seen as normal, it's seen as okay. So let me ask it again in a different way. Why in the world would you not want to be obsessed with yourself and your own potential? Welcome to the Beautiful You podcast, an empowerment podcast for women where we talk about self-love, confidence, and on this episode, self-obsession. My name is Val, and I'm a self-love and confidence advocate, a psychology student, and your new internet big sister. Today, I kind of wanted to get into the psychology and the behind the scenes of self-obsession because I believe it to be a concept that can be quite helpful if you know about it. But if you don't know about it, it kind of comes across as a synonym for narcissism. And we're actually going to explore why it's not that, what self-obsession actually is, and how to use it to your advantage. So as always, I'm going to structure this episode in little chapters. And we're going to start with chapter 1, defining self-obsession. So if you look up on Google, the definition of self-obsession, you're going to get various websites and dictionaries telling you something along the lines of being excessively concerned with one's own life or circumstances/problems. And that invites the question, at what point does being concerned with one's own life become excessive? And the answer to that is depending on who you're asking, right? So if you're asking, society, they're going to say specifically for a woman that just wondering about your life and being concerned about it day to day, that's excessive. Because so societally, women are supposed to be the nurturing ones, the kind ones, the one that put everyone else in front of them, their friends go first, their husbands go first, their kids go first. And of course, I'm not saying self-obsession is not about helping your family or the people you love, but it's also about choosing to put yourself as one of the people that you respect and love the most because you should be. Society tends to expect women to put themselves behind everyone else in their list. They expect them to do everything for everyone that they love except for themselves. So yeah, when you say that women are self-obsessed, society will think oh, they literally don't do anything but for everyone else. They only think about themselves. But that is not what self-obsession is. Self-obsession is just choosing to prioritize your needs as well as helping the people around you. It doesn't mean you can't love anyone or you can't give your time or attention to someone else, but it's I need a moment of silence. I need to relax. I need to work on this project that means the world to me, and taking your time to do so. So if you want to boil it down, self-obsession really is about nurturing your own potential, working on the things you deeply care about, but also seeing what your limits are, where your needs are, and feeding into them. Pushing yourself hard enough that you achieve your goals and you know that your potential is not being wasted, but also knowing where the line is and when you need to rest, when you might need, to hang out with your friends to relax, when you might need to rot in bed for a day, when you might need a little bit more sleep. That is about being self-obsessed, always looking to be the best version of yourself while taking your needs and your wants into account. I know everyone watching this has so much potential. The fact that you're showing up to listen to a podcast episode about empowerment, about self-love, already shows that you care. You want to be here. You want to do something for yourself. So do it. Don't let society tell you that you're too self-obsessed stop you from doing something that you truly care about. You should be self-obsessed. You should be obsessing about how to be a better person every day, how to show up for your family and your friends every day, how to make the projects that you're working on even better. Those should be the thoughts plaguing your mind every day, not what you think your crush might be doing or what one celebrity is doing. I'm not saying you can't think of those things, but the main thought on your head will always be, how can I make my life better? How can I make my life more enjoyable? How can I make everything that I want come true instead of waiting for it to happen to me? Because it's not going to happen. You need to work towards it. You need to plan it. You need to make it your number one priority if you want it to happen. Chapter 2. Self-obsession versus narcissism. So every time a content creator for self-love or confidence brings up the concept of being self-obsessed, the number one argument that comes up is but that sounds narcissistic to me. So I thought we would just clarify what narcissism is compared to self-obsession. We're just going to do a little compare and contrast, if you will. So narcissism falls under the category of abnormal psychology. It is studied in psychology. You can look up in the DSM, which diagnoses psychological disorders. Narcissism is one of them, right? Some of the characteristics for narcissistic people are that they believe that they are more important than people around them. They genuinely think that they're better than the people they surround themselves with. They hold themselves to a higher standard. They're oh yeah, I'm just better like that, guys. They have a need for admiration, since they think they're better, but don't really have proof of it because nobody's better than anyone else. We have different paths and whatnot. nobody's better than anyone else. You have different interests, you have different talents, different areas of your life that you're passionate about, but they actually think that they're better than everyone else, but they don't actually have proof because it's not true. So what they do is they constantly look for admiration. So they do things like brag or bring attention to themselves for people to be like, wow, no, you're amazing. Because they really need to hear that. They really need that proof to back up their belief. They believe that they deserve special treatment because they're so great and so amazing. And when they don't get it, they get angry or upset. And the most important part is that they lack empathy. Like, they don't have the ability, or they don't usually care about what others around them think. You know, they don't care if they're squashing someone else's dreams in order to make their own come true. That is what narcissism is. In self-obsession, it's a very different concept. You want to be better every day. You have huge dreams and you have plans to achieve your goals. You know, you're not just saying, oh, I want XYZ to happen. Let me wait for the universe to bring it to me and sit down and just wait. No, you actually are working towards them. A self-obsessed person also makes their desires and dreams a priority. So if you have a goal of writing a book, the reward is obviously not going to come to you right now. You're not going to get immediate success as soon as you start writing on the page. That is not what it's going to look like. So a self-obsessed person knows that and still puts in the work every day without question, or on a schedule that they choose to put the work into creating this book. And then at the end, when they have this product already created, that's when the success is going to come. You know, that's when they're going to publish it. That's when they're going to feel like, wow, like I really did it. You know what I'm saying? Some people will put it up because it's like, oh, it's not that important right now. I'm not getting anything from it right now. But self-obsessed people know that in order to get to where they want to go, they have to put the work in right now, not in the future. So they commit to their goals. They love their family and friends, but they don't people please. There's a big difference between helping someone and people pleasing, right? When you help someone, you see that they're struggling, they might need help, and you offer your guidance in something that you're good at. People pleasing is just constantly canceling your plans, your promises to yourself in order to arrange and fit everyone else's schedule into your own. And that is something that self-obsessed people don't do. They sure help people, they hang out with their friends, they love people, and they're empathetic. But they also know that their goals have to be a priority if they want to create the life of their dreams. Another one that people are usually very like, that doesn't sound very good to me thing is that self-obsessed people have clear boundaries. And I'm going to have a whole other episode on boundaries because people tend to think that there are these cold things and like, if you do this, like that's it for us. But it's not really about that. It's just setting what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with in a relationship, friendship, anything. And self-obsessed people know that they have to protect their peace because there's no way you can achieve your dreams and follow your passions if someone is constantly crushing your ideas, your decisions. So you have to put a boundary to where you're comfortable with and who you want to hang out with in order for those people that you surround yourself with to inspire you and to make you able to chase your dreams. And most of the time, self-obsessed people's goals benefit everyone else. Whether they want to do something in entertainment and that it will be entertain people around them, they maybe want to share advice and share their experience. They want to advocate for a cause that they're really passionate about. It usually comes down to community. And that's really what drives self-obsessed people because they know the impact that their work is going to have. And they really want to get to that point where the impact comes. So they put in the work consistently and they're doing it for themselves and for people around them. Obviously, as we can tell from that compare and contrast, narcissism and self-obsession are so not the same thing. Because, of course, you should be obsessing about your own life and your own decisions. Like, it's your life. What are you supposed to be? Obsessed with another person? Obsessed with what they're doing? Obsessed with what they're saying? No, you should be obsessed with living the life of your dreams in the moment, working for it in the future, but also living it in the moment as your dream self, because nobody's gonna swoop in and save you and give you all the tools that you need. So those are things you have to think about. And when is it considered excessive? Now, if you didn't consider anyone else's needs but your own, that would be excessive, but then that would be narcissism. So you see how those concepts do not relate to each other at all. Chapter 3, becoming self-obsessed. Now that we know what self-obsessed means and that self-obsessed people are actually so cool and they're so committed to their goals and their friends and to show up in life as the best version of themselves, how do we become self-obsessed people? I want you to fully know yourself. And I mentioned this in the last episode, so hopefully I hope that some of you have already journaled about, your interests, your passions, or whatnot. But I really want you to get specific. It is not enough to say, like, oh, I want to help people. Okay, like, that's good. That's a starting point. But how are you going to help people? Because I know a lot of people who say, like, oh, I want to help people. Okay, how? I don't know. Maybe when I'm older, I'll learn. Honestly, that's fine. But if you want to get your life started to head in the track that you want it to be in, if you want to start building your dream self, your dream life, your dream relationships, why not start now? And it doesn't have to be a huge thing, like you don't have to start like a business or an organization right now. You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. It just starts with the little things. But I want to be very specific on how you want to help people. Do you want to work in healthcare and maybe dedicate your time to studying right now? Do you want to help them giving them advice online and start podcasting or creating content? Do you want to help them by entertaining them and taking them away from the horrible situations going on right now? How do you want to help people? You have to be very specific in order to find your passion and to find goals that you can dedicate yourself to. I also want to say that some benefits of being self-obsessed, for example, specifically for girls, I know a lot of my friends were like, oh my God, I'm obsessing over this guy and I don't know how to make it stop. Literally by being self-obsessed. If you're busy thinking about what your next move's gonna be, how to make your project better, how to create more events for your clubs, it's really hard for the thought of a guy to be nagging you constantly because your brain's so busy trying to be the best version of yourself already. I have a friend who I admire so much. Her name is Kayla, and she is very passionate about kindness and about justice. And she is currently in a club right now at my school that advocates for kindness, respect. It's called No Place for Hate. And I really admire her because I always feel like she's living her life in the moment. She's not waiting for like, oh, when I'm older, I'll advocate for the things that I'm passionate about. No, she's speaking about it right now, holding events, giving conferences, giving speeches and assemblies, and she's doing it right now. She's so deeply interested in that, and her mind is so creative and always working towards something and being like, oh my God, I have an idea, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, and always working on the next project. I just think she's such an incredible girl boss and a huge inspiration. And I'm so glad that I get to spend time with her because her goals, her big goals, and her need to do things right now inspire me to do the same thing. I think the most important thing about being self-obsessed is having fun with it. Your goals are not supposed to be killing you and be a stressor all the time. Have fun with them. Make it fun for yourself and be creative in the best way possible. Now, being self-obsessed is not only about big goals, although it can be, but also about the small moments. Like I said, being aware of your needs. I posted a video a few weeks ago that I hadn't had a great week. It was quite awful, actually. And that for this next week, since I had realized that doing my skincare routine was very soothing for me, I wanted to do it daily. I wanted to really focus on that and really emphasize it. And since then, I have been doing it daily. And it's really helped me find that grounding sense, like, oh my God, it's finally time to calm down, to relax, to go to bed. So those type of things are absolutely about being self-obsessed because it's finding out what you need, what works for you. Maybe it's, doing your hair routine. Maybe it's doing a hairstyle in the morning. Maybe it's waking up to a certain kind of music. It's finding those specific things that will help you function better in your day-to-day and that'll make you happier in the long run. Also about romanticizing your life, finding that perfect outfit, building the perfect playlist with the vibes that you want throughout your days. It's about doing those little details for yourself and always thinking about what can I do to make my day better, to make me smile more, to make myself enjoy life, because it's about that too. It's not all about hustle, hustle, hustle. You're supposed to have fun. Like, this is the only life you get, as far as we know. I don't know what you believe, but right now, as this person in the exact set of circumstances that you have right now, this is the only life you get. So do you want to take advantage of it or do you want to suffer through it? It's really up to you. But finding those little minute details and always being obsessed with making your life and your days better, that is what being self-obsessed is really about. If you ever feel guilty about placing yourself first or saying no to a friend that, might need help because you're feeling terrible that day and you need to go and ground yourself, remember that we're not here to people please. We're here to offer help when we can, and when we can't, that's okay too. You need to be able to fill your own cup first in order to help other people fill their own cups, because otherwise you're not going to have enough water to give everyone else. It's not about being selfish when you say no or when you can't help or when you prioritize your goals. It's about saying yes to future you. It's about seeing that version of you that has accomplished your wildest dreams. I mean, like, she's there because I said no to this person right now. And you're not saying no out of being mean. You're saying no because you physically can deal with it right now. And that's okay. And if your friends are your friends, they'll understand. You wouldn't want your friends uprooting everything in their lives to help you, right? I hope you said no. Please say no. So why would they want you to turn your whole world upside down and suffer while you're trying to help them? They wouldn't. So it'll be okay. And we'll have another episode about people pleasing if you want. If you want that, let me know, please. I would love to talk about it because I feel like it's a really, really big topic on all women. Definitely it was for me. And getting to stop people pleasing actually allows you to show for people in a better way. Chapter 4. Today we're going to have what I call a homework chapter. So I'm going to give you a few tasks that you can partake in to become self-obsessed and become the best version of yourself. So the first one, again, I'm always going to talk about this, is journaling. So I want you to journal about your passions and choose one project that you would like to start for yourself. That could be, again, a little ritual like doing your skincare every day or journaling every day, or it can be as big as starting your own club or starting to write a book. I just want you to commit to something that is for yourself, for no one else. No one else's enjoyment, no one else's time. It's something that you enjoy and that you think might have an impact in the world because it has an impact of you. Like doing your skincare every day might not seem like it's an impact in the world and it benefits people, when you need to recharge, but doing that grounds you, and grounding you makes you feel safer, which allows you to rest more, because if you can't rest if you're stressed, and that allows you to show up on your projects and your friendships better than ever before. So it does have an impact on people. So I want you to commit to one thing, one ritual, project, etc., that you're gonna do for the next week at least. If you want to expand after that, like if you're writing a book, obviously it's not going to go in a week, but commit to something at least for a week for yourself. Next, I want you to look at yourself in the mirror every day and tell yourself 3 things you like about yourself. Like I really like how I handled that situation yesterday at school when a girl was being mean to me. Or I really like how my eyes get all sparkly when I'm talking about something that I'm really excited about. Something like that. Say something really kind to yourself and be specific. Not only, I like my hair. I like my eyes, because the best kind of compliments are specific. So I want you to compliment yourself the way you would compliment your best friend. Because remember, you're stuck with yourself your entire life. That's it. You have all the time you're going to be with yourself. All the time. There's no way of escaping you. So you can either choose to be your own best friend or suffer throughout this lifetime. And finally, I want you to write down at least 3 wins of the week at the end of the week and celebrate them. It could be as small as like, I did my bed every day. I made my bed every single day of this week. Or it could be, I didn't submit any late assignments. That is something to celebrate. Or I went to the gym the days that I said I was going to go to the gym. I want you to celebrate every single little win. Again, for you to realize that the effort you're putting in for yourself and the self-obsession is going to pay off because it's going to bring you wonderful results. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this episode of the Beautiful You podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. And I want you to thank yourself for being here and taking a step towards becoming the best version of yourself. I love you very, very much. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.